What bird soars higher than any other, sees the world from a mile away, and has ruled both sky and story since before humans could write? Long before humans walked the earth, before words were etched into stone, or fire sparked from flint, there were birds riding the winds, silent, watchful, and deadly. Among them, one line of raptors emerged as the undisputed masters of the sky. These were the eagles, descended from early avian predators tens of millions of years ago. Eagles evolved into apex aerial hunters, developing unmatched eyesight, curved beaks, and powerful talons that could grip with a force stronger than a lion's bite, adapted not for brute force, but for precision and survival. Fossils dating back to the Eocene epoch, over 50 million years ago, reveal that large birds of prey with features resembling today's eagles already soared over prehistoric forests. As continents shifted and climates changed, eagle species adapted to dramatically different ecosystems. Some took to mountainous cliffs where the air was thin and still. Others ruled the wetlands, the deserts, or the tall, endless trees of the tropics. The result was diversity. Over 60 species of eagle now live across 6 continents, from the massive harpy eagle of South America to the fish-hunting African fish eagle and the golden eagle that sweeps across Eurasian steppes and North American mountains. Unlike dogs or horses, eagles were never domesticated. Their story was not one of captivity or utility, but of reverence. In parts of Central Asia, nomadic cultures such as the Kazakhs and Kyrgyz developed a unique and sacred relationship with golden eagles. Through generations of careful tradition, young eagles were captured and trained, not broken. These birds learned to hunt foxes and hares for their human partners, developing a mutual respect rarely seen between human and wild. After years of service, these eagles were released back into the wild, a ritual of gratitude and renewal, not ownership. This rare partnership reveals the only context in which humans ever worked with eagles. And even then, it was never submission, only alliance. Most humans, however, never dreamed of touching an eagle. Instead, they watched from below, in awe. Their presence in the sky was taken as a sign, sometimes of blessing, sometimes of warning. Ancient people around the world observed the way eagles moved, how high they soared, where they nested, how they circled. The eagle became more than just a bird. It became an idea, a symbol, and for some, a bridge between worlds. In the cradle of civilization, the eagle was viewed as divine. In Sumer and Akkad, Stylized eagles adorned the thrones of kings, associated with gods of war and wisdom. In Egypt, the falcon-headed Horus, a deity of the sky, closely resembled the regal features of the eagle and came to symbolize kingship and the watchful eye of divine rule. The Greeks, seeing strength and clarity in the eagle's flight, made it sacred to Zeus. Roman legions marched under the standard of the Aquila, the eagle, believing that to carry its image into battle was to bring the favor of the gods. But even these powerful empires did not invent the eagle's mystique. They inherited it. Cultures across the Americas revered eagles long before the arrival of European empires. Among indigenous nations of North America, the eagle was seen as sacred. Its feathers were considered living prayers, gifts from the Creator. Warriors wore them in ceremonies and battles not as decoration, but as emblems of honor, spirituality, and the path between the earthly and the divine. For the Lakota and Cheyenne, the eagle was a messenger spirit. The Hopi believed the eagle flew highest and could carry messages to the sun. In these worldviews, the eagle was not simply a bird. It was a teacher, a guardian, a sacred being. And yet, despite its spiritual elevation, the eagle was never separate from the rawness of nature. It hunted, it killed, it defended its territory with terrifying speed and precision. People understood and respected this duality, strength balanced by wisdom, ferocity tempered by distance. Eagles, unlike hawks or falcons, were not seen as tools or pets. They could not be kept. They resisted cages, both physical and symbolic, and so they occupied a different space in the human imagination, just beyond reach, yet always visible, always present. They were never used in agriculture, never yoked to carts, or harnessed for war. Their talons did not bear weapons. Their backs did not carry loads. Yet no other animal has been carried more frequently into battle, not in flesh, but in image. The eagle has appeared on more military standards, flags, coins, crests, and seals than almost any other creature. It became the embodiment of power, of vigilance, of reach. A predator from the sky could not be touched, and that made it the perfect symbol for empires aspiring to be untouchable. In warfare, the eagle didn't fight, but it inspired. When an army bore the image of the eagle into a campaign, it was an invocation, a reminder to be fearless, to see farther, to strike from above, and to dominate. Beyond the battlefield, eagles shaped the spiritual geography of the world. Their high nests on cliffs or treetops became places of pilgrimage. Their feathers, when found, were handled like relics. Their cries, rare and piercing, were sometimes interpreted omens, and in the natural world, they shaped ecosystems as apex predators, balancing populations of fish, rodents, and smaller birds. Their biology only deepened the sense of myth, with vision several times sharper than a human's. They can spot prey from distances of up to 2 miles. Their curved beaks tear flesh like blades. Their talons can crush bone. Their flight is silent, their presence dominating, and they are loyal, often mating for life, raising chicks together, defending their territories fiercely and intelligently. In some cultures, to dream of an eagle was to dream of purpose. In others, to see one circle above your path was to be warned of coming change. To many, the eagle became the embodiment of freedom, because it obeyed nothing but the wind and its own will. As civilizations grew more industrial and then digital, the eagle's role shifted. It no longer shared the same land as city dwellers. It vanished from many regions, its habitats destroyed by human sprawl. Some species came close to extinction, but even when invisible, the eagle endured in the cultural mind. It remained carved in stone, painted on flags, etched in memory, not as a creature we mastered, but one we continued to look up to. No matter how far we advanced, the eagle reminded us that there was always something above us, something wild, something watching, something unbroken. It is not an animal we tamed, it is a spirit we have followed. In today's world of glass towers and glowing screens, we rarely look up, but when we do, and we see an eagle gliding effortlessly overhead, something ancient stirs, a stillness, pull toward something greater, something that does not belong to roads, machines, or time. The eagle still watches us, as it always has, not as a participant in our world, but as a mirror to our place in it. In Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa, habitat destruction, poisoning, and poaching drove numbers down. And yet, the eagle's story did not end. Public outrage, ecological awareness, and scientific effort converged to protect what remained. Conservation movements in the 1970s and beyond worked to ban harmful chemicals, enforce protections, and reintroduce eagles into areas they had vanished from. Wildlife biologists climbed trees and cliffs to monitor nests, protect hatchlings, and relocate birds. Breeding programs began. The bald eagle was removed from the U.S. endangered species list in 2007, a rare conservation success story. Its return became a symbol not only of resilience, but of what humanity can restore when it chooses to act. Other species, however, still face peril. The Philippine eagle, one of the rarest and largest eagles in the world, is critically endangered, with fewer than 400 individuals remaining in the wild. Harpy eagles, apex predators of the Amazon rainforest, continue to lose territory due to logging and development. Climate change now alters ecosystems at a rate faster than many eagles can adapt to. As the planet warms, as prey patterns shift and trees vanish, some eagles are left without food, without nesting grounds, without sky. To protect them, we have turned to the very technology that once endangered them. Satellites now track migration. GPS transmitters, no larger than a coin, are fitted onto young eagles to monitor their flight paths, hunting zones, and seasonal habits. Researchers can map the lives of eagles across continents, how they soar across deserts, climb over mountains, follow thermals and rivers. Drones study nests from a distance, avoiding human disruption. Cameras hidden in tree canopies show us how chicks hatch, how mates share food, how storms are endured. Through these digital eyes, we begin to understand just how complex, intelligent, and emotionally rich these birds truly are. Mated pairs often stay together for years, if not for life. They build enormous nests called eyries, returning to them season after season, adding new branches and weaving in feathers, fur, and bone. These nests can grow to over 2 meters wide, weighing hundreds of kilograms. Within them, eaglets are raised in fierce but tender conditions. Parents hunt constantly, siblings compete. Survival is never guaranteed, even at the top of the food chain. Beyond science, the emotional symbolism of eagles continues to evolve. In art, music, literature, and philosophy, the eagle remains a metaphor, not just for strength or nationalism, but for clarity. It represents the long view, the vision to see what others cannot. In some psychological traditions, the eagle is a totem of transcendence, rising above conflict to gain perspective. It is the archetype of independence, the inner voice that urges us to rise, to detach from the noise below, to return to something higher and more centered. For those who live close to the land, farmers, herders, conservationists, and indigenous communities, the presence of an eagle is not theoretical. It is a real, living connection to the balance of life. It means the ecosystem still works. It means the rodent population is under control. The rivers still flow. The tall trees still stand. It means the web of life is still intact, but the threats are far from over. In some regions, eagle body parts are sold on the black market, used in traditional medicines or as status symbols. Power lines electrocute thousands of raptors each year. Wind farms, though critical for renewable energy, can interrupt migration routes and kill birds unadapted to their presence. illegal logging fragments nesting areas, poisoned bait meant for predators like wolves or jackals, often kills scavenging and hunting birds as collateral. To protect the eagle, we must protect its sky, and that sky includes forests, rivers, cliffs, deserts, and oceans. It includes the insects that feed the mice, that feed the birds, that feed the eagles. It means understanding that the health of an eagle is a reflection of the health of an entire ecosystem. And yet, there is hope. More and more eagles are being woven into school curriculums, ecotourism efforts, national parks, and rewilding programs. Children are learning to recognize their calls. Urban populations are learning to look up again, finding bald eagles nesting on cell towers, sea eagles skimming over reclaimed wetlands, golden eagles returning to high mountain ranges once thought lost. Cultural respect is growing too. Laws protecting eagle feathers for indigenous use reflect a growing acknowledgement of spiritual heritage. Conservationists are now working side by side with tribal leaders, combining ancestral knowledge with modern science to protect eagle populations. In some regions, entire festivals are dedicated to the eagle, not just as spectacle, but as ceremony. As we move further into the 21st century, the future of eagles remains uncertain, but it is not hopeless. It depends not on their strength, but on ours, on our willingness to protect something we cannot own, to value what does not entertain us, to remember what it means to live with rather than over the natural world, because the eagle does not serve us, it does not obey. It flies on winds older than nations, hunts in silence, builds in peace, and teaches without speaking. And perhaps that is why it continues to move us so deeply, because it reminds us of something within ourselves that we fear we've lost. Vision, discipline, perspective, and the courage to rise above. To watch an eagle soar is to remember the weightless state of possibility. To feel, if only for a moment, that there is still something vast, sacred, and untamed in the world. Something that cannot be marketed, monetized, or manufactured. Something that just is. So when you next look to the sky, and the light catches a wide-winged shadow above you, pause, listen, not for sound, but for stillness, for presence, because above the noise of cities, beyond the language of laws, and deeper than any symbol we've carved into stone, the eagle still circles, and it still sees,